Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the color tutorial for the memory drawing on the topic PAAN shop. In this video, we'll dive into how to use watercolors effectively, how to mix your hues, layer your tones, and bring your memory sketch to life with color. Before we get started, if you're looking for more videos on watercolor techniques and how to handle the medium better, I have added helpful links down in the description, so make sure to check those out. Also, if you have missed the previous video where I discussed which watercolor materials I recommend for memory drawing, do give it a watch. It will help you get the most out of today's session. As you can see, I have started by painting the background before moving on to the human figures. This approach helps me understand the overall composition better. If we begin directly with the figures, it often becomes difficult to decide which clothing should be in darker tones and which in lighter ones. So, instead of getting confused later, it's always better to plan your color values, your lights and darks right from the beginning. Just like how you compose your drawing during the sketching stage, you also need to compose with color while painting. Here's a simple principle. Where the background is darker, I'll keep the human figures lighter. And where the background is lighter, I'll add contrast by painting the figures in darker tones. This balance between light and dark areas will make your artwork more harmonious and visually appealing. So, watercolors can be a little tricky at first, especially when it comes to water control and consistency. It's not always easy to figure out how much water to mix with your paint, so here's a simple rule to follow. For most of the main tones, try using around 80% color and 20% water. This ratio helps your colors stay rich and bold while still giving you the fluidity that watercolor needs. But when you're working on background elements or areas that are farther away, where you want the color to be lighter and more faded, flip the ratio. Use 80% water and only 20% color. This will give a soft atmospheric effect and create proper depth in your composition. Remember, controlling your water to color ratio is key to getting the look you want. When you're painting a memory drawing, always decide on one clear light source. Every object, figures, clothing, background elements should follow that single direction of light. This keeps your painting consistent and believable. Also, avoid leaving pure white patches on the skin or clothes to indicate highlights. In real life, fabric and skin don't reflect light that way. Instead, use subtle shifts in value, light and shadow, to show form and texture. Practicing drapery with proper shadows and using watercolors thoughtfully will not only improve your work, it will help you score better in your exams too. Because in the end, understanding light and shadow is the foundation of good painting. It's a skill you will need in every artwork you create. So don't skip it. Start learning it now. For the skin tones in this drawing, I have mainly used a light orange wash as the base to create variety and make the figures look more natural. You can mix in a bit of red for some figures that gives a warmer, richer tone. For others, try adding a touch of yellow to the orange base. This small adjustment creates subtle differences and helps represent a wider range of skin tones. By playing with these simple color variations, your figures will look more lively and realistic. For the hair, I have used burnt sienna as the base color. It gives a warm, natural brown tone. For darker hair shades, I mixed burnt sienna with a bit of ultramarine blue or sometimes cobalt blue. This deepens the tone and creates a more realistic dark brown or almost black effect without making it look flat. When it comes to clothing, don't feel limited to flat colors. You can add a lot of interest by incorporating simple patterns like stripes, checks, polka dots, or even combining two colors in one shirt. Try to keep a few go-to patterns ready, 3 or 4 that you like, and use them consistently across your memory drawings. It not only adds variety but also makes your artwork look more detailed and thoughtfully composed. For white or grey clothing, I like to use Payne's Grey. It's one of the darkest colors in the palette, and when diluted, it gives a nice soft grey effect. To make white clothes look more realistic, you can add a touch of blue or yellow depending on the light and reflections around them. A white shirt might pick up a cool bluish tone or a warm yellow tint, so don't be afraid to blend those subtle hues in. It brings life and depth to what might otherwise look flat. Your memory drawing should include a variety of age groups, children, adults, and elderly figures, to make the scene feel more dynamic and realistic. And when it comes to coloring, remember that age affects how you use your tones. For example, children's clothing can be brighter and more playful, while older people might wear more muted or neutral shades. Even the skin tones can vary slightly with age, so keep those subtle changes in mind to add more depth and storytelling to your work. Once you have added all the base colors to your figures, the next step is to bring in the dark tones. This is where your painting really starts to come alive. Use these darker values to define the shadows, folds in clothing, and overall depth. While you're doing that, you can also start adding facial features and finer details using burnt sienna. It works beautifully for outlining features without looking too harsh like black wood. Now, a quick tip. Don't outline your figures with a pen, marker, or anything. While it might seem like it adds clarity, it actually makes your artwork look flat and less realistic. Instead, rely on the natural flow of light and shadow to define your forms. Use darker and lighter tones to separate shapes and create depth. This approach keeps your painting soft, expressive, and more lifelike. Sometimes keeping things simple is what makes your work stand out the most. And that's it for today's video. Up next, I'll be working on a still life using poster colors, maybe a bucket, a mug, or something along those lines. It's going to be a fun and detailed study, so stay tuned. Make sure to watch my previous videos if you haven't already, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll start preparing soon. Until then, keep drawing, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.